But Shawn, a lot of talk obviously still going on about you and Terence Crawford.
Who?
Shawn Porter and Terence Crawford.
Terence Crawford.
Shawn, is that a fight you still seek right now?
No
hesitation.
I haven't said too much about it. I think my dad kind of just spelled it out for you in terms of what I have going on and the adjustments that I need to make for myself. So I think before I call out Terence Crawford or make this big statement about fighting him or anything like that at all, I definitely need to make sure that I'm in the right space, physically, mentally, spiritually, the whole nine. That way I can be ready for a challenge. That's one thing that about me is I never say too much, and things that I do say I do mean. And so I would never put myself in a position where I'm not ready for whatever challenge I'm trying to bring to myself. But yeah, there's no doubt. I still feel like that's the biggest fight that could be made in the welterweight division. I can definitely say one of the biggest fights that could be made in the welterweight division. And I really dig the idea of getting in the ring with him, and even the things is like training and preparing for him specifically. I like that too, so that is very much so a fight that I would love to have in the near future.
It seems like, that's a fight you've always been warm to, but you've heated up to it even more in the months since the Formella fight. Why is that, Shawn?
Because I think what happened was I fought. I didn't beat Errol Spence Jr., but I fought Errol Spence Jr. And where the talk was before the fight that everyone wanted to see him and Terence Crawford fight, and that wasn't the conversation after the fight. The conversation after the fight was, oh, well, what about Shawn Porter and Terence Crawford? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh yeah, well, what about it? I'll show you about it, So that's kind of really where it all got started for me. And then, after the Formella fight, it's like, no disrespect to Formella, no disrespect to the sport or anyone else in the sport or whatever, but I want big fights. I want the biggest fights that can be made, and I want to be a part of that. I don't want to commentate Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. I want to fight Terence Crawford or Errol Spence Jr. So that's kind of where the heat comes from since that fight with Formella.
That's a good point, because that's a very realistic scenario if they ever fought, that you'd have to call the fight ringside. And I imagine your blood would start, maybe not boiling, but boiling in a competitive way.
Hey, like I said, put me where I belong. I belong in the ring. I belong in the ring with Terence Crawford. I belong in the ring with Errol Spence Jr. I belong in the ring with one of them. And don't put me on the side. And if you put me on the side, make sure that I'm the next one getting in the ring with whoever wins that fight. Whoever says, okay, I'll fight Shawn Porter next.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to just commentate and do that. I'm not fully in commentary mode and all that kind of stuff. There's still a few challenges out there that I see for myself, and I just think that Terence Crawford is probably the biggest challenge right now.
Shawn,
that they'll give me, Manny Pacquiao. He's in recess, so.
Or vacated, apparently, officially, right? So, but like you mentioned the Spence fight, you came to within an inch of beating him. Some people thought you did win the fight.
Yeah.
But for Terence Crawford, would you have to be even a little bit better than you were that night?
You always gotta be better. You always gotta be better. Even in another fight with Errol Spence Jr., you're asking me what adjustments I will make and what I have done differently, so on and so forth. And I really don't know. I just know that in the next fight, I will be better because that's what it takes. And so even looking at Terence Crawford, I know his style of the way he likes to fight and all that kind of stuff. So you tailor the fight to beat him, but you tailor everything to be better than you were in whatever last fight it was, whatever last big fight it was,
To oversimplify it, can you not outbox a Terence Crawford?
No,
Is
you
that
can. You can. I feel like anybody can be outboxed, and I feel that anybody can be outpunched. Case in point is Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. We just did not see that coming. We expected the boxer to box and the puncher to be the puncher, and it was a quick flip. So I think that obviously 2 different weight classes and 2 different fighters and all that kind of stuff. But I really do think that when you're doing the right things, you can beat whoever is across from you at whatever they do best.